I am not a security personnel like a policeman, an army officer, a DSS officer, Air Force, and so on and so forth. But most of the time, I really think about the security situation in our country, Nigeria. And most of the time, I come to a conclusion that the Nigerian government actually created insecurities through their own way of trying to tackle insecurity. Most of the insecurity we have in Nigeria, it was created by the politicians. And I'm going to explain in this video very well. And I'm going to tell you how the government of Nigeria made a lot of mistakes, not one, not two, not three. They have made a lot of mistakes regarding the security situation in our country. Now, I know that different geographical areas in Nigeria, we have different security challenges. But particularly in the southeast, before Nnamdi Kanu was arrested, before he was detained, before soldiers started coming after him, southeastern Nigeria is like the best place or the most peaceful place to stay in Nigeria. So after Nnamdi Kanu started growing wings and started having influence, the southeast governors, they knew that this thing is not going to go well with them. You know what they do? They started working with the Nigerian federal government to carry out operations like Operation Python Dance. I don't just understand how civilians who are blowing whistle, parading on the street, protesting peacefully, you are using military against them. No, it doesn't go. It's a big mistake. I track the insecurity situation we have in the southeast now to those times that soldiers were killing civilians, pushing them inside malls, making them to drink dirty waters. I have all those videos, but I don't want to play because of, community policy issues where soldiers messed up with people. And because of that, human beings are wired to defense. People have to start defending themselves. People started hating soldiers. So politicians created the hate. The politicians created the hatred today that most people have with the soldiers. It was the Southeast governors that invited all those people that carried out those Python dance and so on and so forth. But that is apart. Now, let's talk of issue of Boko Haram. The issue of Boko Haram started in Borno State. It's no longer a news. By the way, Femi Fandana, the senior advocate of Nigeria, told us that who formed Boko Haram was the former governor of Borno State, who handed over to Kashim Shettima. His name is Andy Modu Sheriff. Listen to Fandana.
Very important. Who started the Boko Haram crisis in Borno State? A governor, one Modu Ali Sheriff, addressed the press 2 days ago and attempted to insult the collective intelligence and memory of Nigerians by denying any links with the dangerous, dreaded Boko Haram sect. I did reply him yesterday, and I'm expecting him to sue me because he said he wanted to sue an Australian. You don't need to go to Australia. What you are looking for in Sokoto is in the pocket of your Sokoto. I'm ready to join issues with him because not only did he sponsor that organization by providing funds for them, in 2003, he had a deal with the Boko Haram sect to get him to win the election. And if he won his re-election, he will compensate the organization. When he won that election, he appointed Alhaji Bugu Foy as the Commissioner for Religious Affairs to implement Sharia in that state. When the man attended the first Executive Council meeting, he discovered that they were all talking about contracts and how to steal money. So he went back to the camp, the Boko Haram camp, and said, where you send me to is Gida Barawi, the house of thieves. I can no longer be part of them. So he was asked to resign, and that was how Foy resigned from the government of Modu Sheriff. So to say that you don't know them is the greatest lie. I was just reminded this morning by somebody from Borno State that something was missing in my press statement. That in 2013, 2012, October 10, Alhaji Modu Sheriff was arrested in Cameroon on grounds of his Boko Haram connection. But the government here pleaded with the Cameroonian authorities to release him because he's a big man here. He cannot be arrested. But 2 weeks ago, a special envoy of President Goodluck Jonathan, Reverend Stephen Singh Davis, told the whole world that Alhaji Sharif, the former chief of army staff, Ian Jerika, and some senior officials of the Central Bank of Nigeria have been funding the Boko Haram sect. Up till now, the government has not reacted to this very important information. So when you are looking for the sponsors of Boko Haram, I think we now know where they are. But what is very disturbing is the fact that currently Nigerian soldiers are refusing to fight. A part of Nigeria has been annexed by the Boko Haram sect, and they have named the place the Caliphate Republic. As of this morning, not less than 10,000 Nigerians are in Cameroon as refugees. They've left their homes, and we want to warn both the APC and the PDP, the two ruling parties in Nigeria, dominant parties, to stop politicizing the Boko Haram menace. What is required on the part of all of us is to unite and fight this dangerous phenomenon. But to start pointing accusing fingers because a former member of the APC has now moved to the PDP where he rightly belongs. When he was with you, he was not a Boko Haram sponsor. Now that he has left back, he's gone back to PDP, he has suddenly become a sponsor.
Now you watch this video to the end. Now, let's talk about the issue of Nnamdi Kanu. Nnamdi Kanu is a person that when he started the agitation of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu never wanted any problem, he never wanted any crisis, he never wanted, or even one of his interviews that you are going to watch that he granted with Chinese television, Nnamdi Kanu was saying that it's Biafra or death. And what he means is that it's either he's alive or he's dead, that the struggle for actualization of the state of Biafra is important and it will continue to be, even though it outlived him. And they asked him, do you mean going to war or carrying weapons and so on and so forth? He said no, that there is no need for war, that he is going to use truth to actualize what he wanted. Now, you know why I'm saying this? Supreme Court of Nigeria really, find the Nigerian military guilty for invading Nnamdi Kanu house, killing people, killing dogs, and so on and so forth. So what I'm trying to say is that everything you are seeing today in the South, everywhere, the same thing happened with the Niger Delta militant, the same mistake. It was orchestrated by Nigerian politicians. Their inability to handle security situations or tension or agitation that has led to all these insurgents we have in Nigeria. You heard what Femi Fandana said, how this man and the Modu Sheriff from Boko Haram, it was for political purpose. That is to say that all this insecurity situation we are seeing in Nigeria, they were not meant to be. It was people who created them. It was people who orchestrated them. So I think Nigeria, even though we are not going to be together again, even though we are going to be together, it is good we learn this good lesson so that even though we return into region or Nigeria divide tomorrow, each region will not continue to make this mistake, because this mistake is not tied to one region, both the east, south, west, and north. It's a mistake that they did with Sunday Igboho and so on and so forth. So the way you handle a security situation, it matters a lot. It matters a lot.
What does Biafra mean?
It means freedom, liberty, fairness, equity, and justice.
In practical terms, these are very good sounding words, but in practical terms, what does Biafra mean?
Confederation.
So a weak center,
Very weak.
very strong regions.
Absolutely.
Have you had a change of mind, therefore, about getting an independent Biafra? Because that's what I seem to be hearing.
No, I've not changed my mind, no. An independent Biafra means going back to where we were before the white man came.
Okay, so you're not talking about a federation when you say a confederation. You're not talking about a federation as part of Nigeria. You're talking about total independence.
Absolute independence.
Complete independence. Now, is there anything that can happen that will make you change your mind about this particular direction?
No.
So it is either Biafra or nothing
Or
else.
death. Yes.
Or death.
That's good.
If push comes to shove,
Yes.
will you go to war?
No, because truth is a far more potent and deadlier weapon than bullets and mortars.
So
Truth.
no war. You've ruled out the
Absolutely, I
the
don't believe in war. No, no war. When I say Biafra or that, I'll keep pushing. Either I am alive, I die in the process. I won't stop. Allow me to repeat, if you don't mind. Had sovereign national conference been convened by the powers that be, where every ethnic national, I said every, I don't care if there are 600, I don't care. Everyone is
all the
represented.
500 plus.
Everyone together to say this is all. Others can delegate, I don't know, powers to other people to attend on their behalf. Sit down to say, what type of country do we want? Sit down, discuss, agree. I can begin to perhaps submit to your position.
Is it too late?
It is way too late. They've killed too many people. They've ruined too many lives. They've wasted too many souls. How do we bring those people back?
If the federal government, given the agitation that is going on, becomes convinced that, you know what, these people have a point, it is time to actually address all these issues, and they begin to systematically address some of these issues, would you change your mind?
No, because of the deceptions of the past.
No trust.
No trust. Aburi was there, it was negotiated. Nothing happened. 1968, if I recall. And the confab report, what became of it? How about the 3 R's? Reconciliation, reconstruction, and heaven knows what else. What became of them? Nothing. Calabar Seaport is not working. Can you tell me why it's not working? It's a seaport used by the colonial masters. Why is it not working today? How about Iguacha Seaport? Why is it not being used? Why not worry? Why must we allow only Lagos to function as a viable seaport? In England, where I used to live, you had Liverpool, you had the Sun, which is Portsmouth, Southampton, everywhere. You had harbors and ports. So why must you have only one?
I've heard people say these are very valid arguments, and that these are things that are to do with bad governance. So the average Biafran, to use your phrase, or Igbo man in the Igbo, is facing poverty much in the same way that the average guy in Yobe State is facing poverty. And so these are issues of governance. You don't agree with that?
I agree completely.
Okay. So if that is it, why isn't the agitation about tackling the problem, which is ensuring good governance, perhaps starting from locally? Because part of the allegations against you is that you don't confront your political leaders in the East, and you'd like to blame Abuja for everything.
Because the way I would want to solve a problem is not how a Fulani man would want to solve it.
You really believe this is an ethnic thing, and the
ethnic.
approach is different?
No, the approach is different. No, it's not ethnic. It is more to do with value system.
Right.
The way you may want to solve a problem could be markedly different from how I do mine.
What is the geographical makeup of Biafra, as far as you are concerned, this Biafra that you want? So for example, if we're doing a referendum, where will that referendum take place? Is it only the 5?
It's on, no.
It's okay.
It's on, which is River State, Bayelsa, Delta, Anambra, Imo, Enugu, Ebonyi, Cross River.
Akwa Ibom?
And Akwa Ibom, of course. Akwa Ibom, yes.
Right.
Those are the coasters. Basically,
Bayelsa?
yes. Southeast and South-South without Edo State.
Without Edo State.
That's correct. And then including Igede, Idoma.
Right, the Benues. So
That's
the
correct.
Igalas and part of the Kogi,
Yes.
Kogi State, right?
Yeah.
Nyosom Wike, the governor of Anambra, sorry, the governor of River State, made a statement, I think it was yesterday or the day before
Yes,
yesterday,
yes, I heard about it.
and said, you know, you should not be including River State.
It's for
and
the people of River State
Kwere
to decide,
people.
not him. I can't decide for Biafrans. They have to go and vote and convince the whole world that they want Biafra. It's not for instance, it's only one man, one vote.
What if they're not even willing to take part in the referendum? Because I've had people from the South, for example, from Bielsa. I've had people from Cross River. I think there's a famous actress, Kate Henshaw, for example, wrote a long piece about why people of the South don't want to be dragged into a place called Biafra. You're saying, regardless of what they say, you want a referendum in those parts? Because
I know the majority of the people want a referendum. I was in Iguacha yesterday.
How do you know?
I was there yesterday. I was in Iguacha yesterday. You call Port Harcourt. I was there yesterday. I should have been there to see what happened.
Now,
they were delighted to see me. I'm sure you know that. It's all over the place. They're very happy to see me. I bet Kate Henshaw wouldn't get such reception. Where she to go to?
She's a big, popular Nollywood actress. I wouldn't necessarily.
I'm telling you, if I go to her village, people will turn out to see me more than turn out to see her.